Nice. Good evening, everybody. I see some few people trickling in. Very nice. I don't expect too many people. It's Christmas Eve and it's 6 p.m. It's all good. I just want to go live because it's all good. It's all groovy in this movie, baby. All right. What shall we? Ooh, where'd my list go? That's what that note was. That's what that sound was. My notepad fell on the floor. How we doing? Merry Christmas. Whoever's watching, God bless you. God bless you. Oh, now there's 5 people watching. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Let's talk about Qubic. Let's talk about Qubic this Christmas. If you've been tuning in to the last few streams, you know it's just been that was a different tone. But that stuff is just American history. If you don't know what I'm talking about, be sure to look at the last few live streams that I've done. Ooh. There's gonna be you thought the Japanese yen, if you thought the carry trade unwind was crazy, man, this FBI unwind is gonna be even crazier. Man, what a time to be alive, huh? What a time to be alive. Oh, man. And to be able to document it in real time as it's happening, unfolding. What the hell? You're always in history, but you don't always, witness history. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's crazy to, all right, on to the topics at hand, right? What's in the title of the video? OpenAI and Qubic's approach to AGI. Good evening, everybody. My name is Samson, and we're about to talk about AI and Qubic. We're going to talk about the OpenAI bubble and how this thing's just about to pop. I came across data recently in the last few weeks that I've been consuming, and now I feel like it's worth sharing because I feel like I've digested it enough. I want to segue into what I want to talk about with a couple of videos. So the first is this bubble created by OpenAI, right? This is a really fun video. So shouts out to this guy for making the video. Monkey Explains. He has a lot of really cool videos. So make sure you subscribe to Monkey Explains on YouTube. The OpenAI bubble is worse than you think. Ooh. So I have a few notes down here. Hopefully, we can segue into the real point that I'm trying to make. But this is just to give you a little context into why I want to make the point I want to make. All right. So let's get into this video. There's gonna be an cover your ears, children. Cover your ears. Skip. All right, this guy does. All right, make sure you subscribe and watch this video on your own if you want, right? I recommend you do. Give him some views, some watch time hours, drop the video a like at the very least, right? Give him some credit. He has a really fun way of explaining situations in banana terms. All right, let's check it out. Ram 08P says it's 9 p.m. where I'm at. Nice. It's 6 p.m. where I am, so you must be on the East Coast. I'm in LA, my guy. All right, so let's get into it. Let's get into it.
This is Sam, and he's got a huge problem. See, Sam's the boss of the...
Sam, a.k.a. Sam Altman, in case you missed it. Watch the logos. Just watch it.
Biggest AI...
I'm going to try to not stop it. All right, I'm going to try to not stop it so many times to chime in.
This is Sam, and he's got a huge problem. See, Sam's the boss of the biggest AI company in the jungle. Together, they've put out the software that's revolutionized everything from cheating on college essays to writing pointless pitch decks by consulting firms. And nowadays, AI is everywhere you go. Sam's seen the headlines, his face plastered across countless magazines. But behind that smile lies a deep unease. Sam's also seen the balance sheets, and they're painting a far less optimistic picture. Even his own company, the darling of Silicon Valley, is running at a massive loss. Multi-billion bananas burn just to keep the lights on every day.
So in case you haven't caught on, he's talking about Sam Altman and OpenAI. They are running at a severe loss. A crazy loss. Let's continue.
But Sam knows that he's got no choice. He has to double down. If the numbers already look so grim with widespread AI adoption and billions in investment worldwide, God only knows how bad things will be when the hype dies down. Because of the existential threat, Sam orders full steam ahead. He tells his team to innovate, to push out new features, new products, anything to keep the excitement going. A ChatGPT browser here, a tweaked chatbot there. Each launch is touted as the next revolution by influencers, news outlets, and even some jungle governments. But under the hood, it's all starting to look the same. ChatGPT 4 and 5, for example. Despite the marketing spin, they're performing the same function, except that one's just a little more depressed than the other. But with every new launch, the market's getting crowded, and products are blurring together. And slowly, the monkeys are starting to notice. Sam knows the hype can't last forever. And when it fades, will AI have built anything real enough to justify the hundreds of billions invested?
Right, well, is ChatGPT worth, is the ability to just talk to some fancy Google search, is a better Google worth $1 bazillion? I'm gonna just start saying bazillion crazy words because just the amount of money they're putting into this is just, it's so stupid. This is Tulip Mania 10.0, dude.
Or is this all just another bubble waiting to burst? This is the AI bubble explained. So let's take a look at the state of the AI market. Hey, looking good, right? Actually, no, there's a lot of monkey business going on under the hood. And fortunately, these problems are starting to come to light. Copyright lawsuits, AI product failures, and mass AI layoffs are becoming more and more common, and the pressure is mounting on Sam. See, he knows he's gonna have his work cut out for him, but Sam has a secret weapon. Mountains and mountains of data. Your data, our data. Data that countless monkeys like you and I have provided him with our questions, our requests, and the jungle's growing use of ChatGPT. Everything from asking it to plan out a holiday itinerary or accidentally leaking IT trade secrets. The truth is that Sam and OpenAI know a frightening amount of things that they likely shouldn't. And when they use these data points to generate responses, the question is, who owns it? But here's the thing. Nobody really knows. That's the literal billion banana question that monkeys have been trying to figure out ever since Sam debuted ChatGPT to the jungle. And now things have reached a boiling point. If you've ever been on the hellhole that's LinkedIn, you know exactly what I mean. LinkedIn gurus copy-pasting each other's posts word for word, all using the same Studio Ghibli aesthetic. Even their comments sound like they're written by AI. But this is just a small ecosystem that perfectly represents the bigger problems with AI. Because if everything is AI generated, isn't AI just being trained on its own output? And more importantly,
Dun, 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 dun. Did you guys catch that? This is a very important piece to catch.
it's a small ecosystem that perfectly represents the bigger problems with AI. Because if everything is AI generated, isn't AI just being trained on its own output? And more importantly, who actually...
Oh shit. Oopsie. What just happened? I weigh. My bad, guys.
pitch decks by consulting firms. The New York Times versus been trying to figure out ever since Sam debuted ChatGPT to the jungle. And now things have reached a boiling sound like they're written by AI. OpenAI, the AI itself? Because if everything is AI generated, isn't AI just being trained on its own output? And more importantly,
So everyone using AI because the AI is trained by what's on the internet. So if everyone's using AI and AI it's so bad. Like AI is not actual intelligence. All right. We're starting to chisel into the point that I'm trying to get into. So first of all, AI is not the AI that's being portrayed right now is not AI at all. And it's wasting billions of dollars. Billions on billions. All right, let's continue. And destroying the earth.
who actually owns it? Is it the user? Sam? OpenAI? The AI itself? No one knows, but a lot of monkeys care, a lot, about their original works. Because recently, a wave of lawsuits has hit the AI industry over copyright infringement. The most high profile is the New York Times versus OpenAI and Microsoft, where the Times alleges its articles were used without permission to train ChatGPT. And it's not just the news space. Authors are suing OpenAI and Meta for using their books as training data. And music publishers are suing Anthropic for scraping lyrics to train its Claude chatbot.
Ooh. And
here's where things get even messier. Most monkeys have no idea how much of their own work is being swept up into these AI models. If you're a creator, a student, or a professional, it's worth actually reading the terms of service for these popular AI tools. Spoiler alert, a lot of them reserve the right to use your uploads and prompts to improve their models, which means your work could end up as someone else's training data without you ever knowing. So if you've ever uploaded a resume, a rough draft of an assignment, or a PowerPoint pitch deck for your boss, chances are that an AI is out there feasting on your work for their next update. And if monkeys care about protecting your intellectual property, and more importantly, your privacy, you need to be picky about which programs you use. The team has been using Proton Drive because it offers end-to-end encryption, meaning only you and monkeys that you deem trustworthy can access your files. And it's not just your file contents. Proton Drive also owns productivity tools like Google flagging it and reporting us to the feds. Plus, using AI using your data. So whether you're a small business ChatGPT model, Proton Drive has you. Seriously, if you want cloud storage that actually gives a damn about your right to privacy, go check.
That was a sneaky ad read. I'm trying to fast forward through it.
Them out at Count on the House. Desperately trying to convince everyone that AI can stand on its own, and that these are just the growing pains. Desperately trying to convince everyone that AI. But while these % discount on the House, thank you Proton for sponsoring this video. But while these lawsuits are ongoing, Sam is desperately trying to convince everyone that AI can stand on its own, and that these are just the growing pains of a new and highly disruptive product. However, the reality on the ground is very, very different. Despite billions in investment from hedge funds, accelerator programs, and megacorps, many AI startups are struggling to become profitable. Worse, even the AI initiatives at the world's biggest companies are failing to generate a real return on investment. Sam knows this better than
AI companies right now are losing money hand over fist. We're gonna get into the next. This might be actually a long stream, dude. This is AI. AI is a bubble. It's yeah. This is gonna be the nastiest bubble to pop since. Two bubbles are gonna pop: the MSTR bubble, the DAT bubble, right? The digital asset treasury, and the AI bubble. There's just so much darkness ahead of us. Just brace yourself, guys.
Than anyone. Even OpenAI, his own company, is operating at a massive loss. But he's got to double down. He's got no other choice. Because of this, Sam orders more. More launches, more updates, more models. No matter how trivial, no matter how pointless, no matter how similar the next release is to the last, just keep launching new models as fast as possible. Keep the hype flowing. Keep propagating the illusion that this is all built on something profitable long-term, despite what the numbers say. And so, every week, it's a new revolutionary feature. But here's the dirty secret. Most of these products flop. According to a recent MIT report, only 1 in 20 generative AI pilot projects at companies succeed. That's right, a 95% failure rate. Hell, growing up in an Asian household, even a 95% success rate wasn't enough for Monkey's parents. And you're telling me that 95% failure rate is what we're betting billions of bananas on? And we've seen it before too. Take Devin, for example, the AI software engineer that was supposed to automate coding and revolutionize the industry. The demos looked magical, but when real developers put it to the test, it couldn't deliver. The hype fizzled, and Devin quietly joined the growing graveyard of AI products that promised the world and delivered, well, not much. The worst part is that Sam's relentless push to hype up AI seems to have rubbed off on other founders as well, with some claiming that these failure signals are just business as usual. But the most egregious example of this is one of the CEOs of these AI startups likening the AI industry to riding a bike for the first time. Sorry, but Monkey never owned a billion-dollar bike that would collapse the economy if I fell off while practicing. Please excuse me. But if we're to believe these founders and CEOs, if AI truly is the next best thing since sliced bananas, why do so many companies keep firing AI workers? First it was Meta, then it was Amazon, followed by another, and it doesn't seem to end. Every new headline breaks that yet again, AI workers are being let go as if they have.
We have got to the point where literally anybody can build a fully working app without knowing how to code. This is base 44.
The plague. The numbers are horrifying. In 2025 alone, over 112,000 tech workers have lost their jobs across 218 companies, with at least 80,000 jobs directly impacted due to AI-led restructuring at giants like Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, and Google. It's happening everywhere. Intel, TCS, Salesforce. And if the big companies are feeling the pinch, Monkey can only imagine the layoffs that aren't high-profile enough to make it to the news cycle. Sam's getting paranoid. All of this signals that things are bad in the AI industry, and yet, investors seem to keep throwing bananas at anything that uses AI. Sam's faced with an impossible dilemma. Come out and call for the world to reel back the hype, potentially popping the bubble early, or keep the hype train chugging along till it hits a brick wall. It's a lose-lose situation. And yet, despite all the warning signs, mass layoffs, failed products, lawsuits piling up, there's still a chorus of voices insisting that the AI revolution is only just beginning. See those CEOs? Those founders we were talking about earlier? If you believe their LinkedIn posts, their press releases, or their keynotes at conferences, you'll hear the same message over and over again. They all word it slightly differently, but the message is clear. They believe AI is the real deal, and that all this haphazard investment is just par for the course. First, they'll tell you, every revolution looks like chaos at first. Remember the dot-com boom? The early days of the internet were a mess. But out of that chaos came Amazon, Google, and the entire digital economy as we know it today. Or they'll point to the sheer scale of investment. Look at the bananas pouring in, they say. Would all these VCs, wealth funds, and Fortune 500s really be this wrong? While conveniently forgetting the numerous financial disasters facilitated by these same mega corporations. Just because they're wealthy doesn't mean they're right. Don't get Monkey wrong here. I'm not saying we should stop developing AI altogether. No. Monkey just thinks the kitchen is getting a little too hot for its own good. So what's really going on? If you want to see just how shady things have gotten, look no further than the circular financing at the heart of the AI boom.
Oh, the circular financing. Oh, this is the Three Stooges right here. This is the circular financing is really one of the kickers in this whole thing.
Numbers are...
Tune in. If you're not locked in yet, lock in. Lock in now.
Astronomical. Billions of bananas between the same handful of companies, inflating each other's numbers and making the whole market look way more robust than it really is. Here's how it goes. NVIDIA invests billions of bananas into OpenAI. Sam then takes these bananas and buys NVIDIA's GPUs. And like a rotten onion, there's layers to this too. NVIDIA also owns part of CoreWeave, a cloud service provider that buys a lot of NVIDIA's GPUs. And can you guess who are CoreWeave's biggest customers? None other than Sam, OpenAI, and other AI startups. Oh, and don't forget that NVIDIA also buys cloud capacity from CoreWeave. See the pattern here? Monkey is tired of this bullshit, but it doesn't stop there. We're not even halfway through Dystopia Town yet. Oracle, AMD, and even xAI are all tangled up in similar deals, investing in each other, buying each other's chips, and propping up demand that looks a lot like the revenue round-tripping that fueled the 2008 financial crash and the dot-com bubble before it. The parallels are hard to ignore. Back in 2008, banks were trading the same toxic assets back and forth, inflating their books until the whole system collapsed. Now, it's AI companies and their suppliers, all betting on each other's success, with very little actual customer demand to back it up. So when Monkey hears about record-breaking investments and explosive growth in AI, Monkey can't help but wonder if this is just a trillion banana Ponzi scheme just waiting to collapse. Thankfully, many jungle governments have begun to see through the industry's smoke and mirrors and are calling for increased regulations. Experts are calling for reduced investment and a slowdown in model development, warning that the AI arms race is moving faster than our ability to control it. From the EU Forest's sweeping AI Act to rumblings of federal regulation of AI in the US jungle, the message is clear. Maybe it's time to put the brakes on before the whole jungle goes up in flames. Even some of the loudest voices in tech are now urging caution, at least when the cameras are rolling. At the very least, it seems that the Kool-Aid is wearing off, but on the other side, big tech is feeling the pressure. Sam's feeling the heat more than ever. If only these damn reporters would stop asking questions about OpenAI's revenue numbers. But that's the thing about bubbles. The closer you get to the truth, the more uncomfortable it gets for the monkeys at the top. When the story was all about limitless growth, Sam was happy to talk. Now, with the spotlight on the actual numbers, the answers are getting shorter, the smiles more forced. And before we know it, Sam's off to the races once more to showboat for more hype for AI. The question is, how long more before the masquerade finally ends? And if consumer demand can't sustain AI at the peak of its hype, how can they hope to survive when the hype dies out? So the next time you see Sam, or any of these other CEOs and startups peddling AI as a product that can do no wrong, you know what's going on behind the scenes. If any monkeys are confused, just remember that this is a simple satirical explainer about the AI industry. Please do not sue Monkey, and many thanks to the Banana Republic for generously bankrolling and funding these videos. Have a good one, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, make sure you follow this guy, subscribe to his YouTube channel. This was a really fun explainer. I have fun watching all his other videos too. This guy's really fun. But yeah, so that being said, as you can see, obviously OpenAI is not profitable. Literally, no AI company is profitable. No one's running in profit. Everyone's losing money. This is all R&D. This is all research and development. So, on to the next video. This is a little bit more of an obscure video, but it's informative nonetheless. It's from, check this out. His name is Wolfgang Schachter. All right. So okay. Let me get into this.
Debt that's been taken on, with Oracle, 3%. That means 97% of users of artificial intelligence conditions. Who's paying for AI? Only 3% of users are paying anything to use artificial intelligence. 3%.
All right, these are some schnumbers, right? Some real schnumbers. So you can cross-reference to do your own research, but let's get into this. All right, let's run this back real quick.
3% of users are paying anything to use artificial intelligence. 3%. That means 97% of users of artificial intelligence are not paying anything. Now think about that carefully. Compare that to all the investment, all the debt that's been taken on, with Oracle issuing all that debt, all these LLM companies and AI, any company that's in the AI space taking on a lot of investment, taking on a lot of debt, and they've got only 3% of users are paying. So
So whatever the stuff he's saying here definitely coincides with the stuff we just saw from the monkey banana explainer video. So let's just follow along this logic.
Is AI a trap of some kind? It's a reasonable question. If so many companies are willing to spend this much on something that's making almost nothing, are they actually laying a trap? It's a reasonable question, okay? Artificial intelligence, large language model operators want to hook everyone on using AI. They're giving it away. It's free, right? Everybody gets hooked, and then they raise prices. That's sort of a mild version of a trap. A more sinister version of a trap, you can just sort of imagine what direction that goes in. If all these companies know that in the future, there will be a certain level of control that will be available to companies that run LLMs, control over the population. So it's one thing to be able to raise prices later. It's another thing to control everyone. China's getting involved heavily. So is AI a trap? Maybe. Okay. If you think about it, because tracking everyone has become so much easier, even if they lie.
This is why. Hey, what's Qubic building? Qubic is building a decentralized AI, an actual AI that evolves on its own. But that's besides the point.
And say they're not tracking everyone. If the government and so on wanted to track everyone, the invention of the internet, well, actually the invention of the World Wide Web, the user-friendly interface to the existing internet back in the 90s, it started making it a lot easier for the government and other agencies, entities to track the population, what they were doing, what they were saying, and so on. So even the original internet was sort of a trap in that regard. In this case, this is sort of a control issue because artificial intelligence gives responses that people put faith in, and maybe they shouldn't be. So just something to keep in mind, okay? They're giving this away. They're spending a ton on this stuff. They're taking out a lot of debt. Why? It's not making any money.
I'm not a conspiracy theory guy. He is just making sort of a valid point. I don't think he's being really much of a conspiracy theorist here. It does sound kind of crazy, but like, think about it logically. Why would you be spending billions upon billions upon billions of dollars I mean, these guys are really dumb at the top. I mean, you've seen it with the last live streams. Like, there's just idiots with lots of money. And it's been said before blatantly, like, they'd rather overspend and not miss the opportunity than completely miss the opportunity. Like, it's when you have trillions of dollars to spend, like, people just blow billions. Like, it's really simple.
Clearly not needed. If this was a need, there would be a lot more paying users, and maybe there will be in the future. But stand by. I'll show you what the implications are.
Let's hear that again.
It's clearly not needed. If this was a need, there would be a lot more paying users, and maybe there will be in the future. But stand by. I'll show you what the implications are. The freemium model. A lot of people say, well, this is the freemium model in action. The way that works is you give something away, something of value. In this case, the ability to access artificial intelligence. You give that away for free. That has value in the hopes of converting some users into paying customers. That's the freemium model. Okay, but keep in mind.
A la Spotify, right? That's a freemium model. You can listen to music for free. You have ads, and then if you get tired of listening to ads, you eventually pay for premium, and you can do all that. That's a premium model. And that's what AI is. And right now, it costs so much money to generate tokens for AI. Oh my God. You can't have a freemium for LLMs, dude.
97% of users are paying nothing. If you look, you'll find that over 60% of US computer users have used artificial intelligence. 97% of users are not paying anything. It's going to be very hard, if not impossible, to convert any large amount of that 97% into paying customers. Very difficult.
Dude, how are you gonna get someone? Because I use LLMs all the time. I use Grok usually. You're never gonna get me to pay to use Grok. Like, this is why Qubic is gonna reign supreme, dude. Now I can start talking about what I want to talk about. This is where Qubic steps in, man. Qubic is a self-sustaining entity. They already earn revenue. The AI is already training itself. The miners pay themselves with emissions. They mine iterations non-stop. And while they're not mining iterations, they're mining Monero. Right? And when they're done mining Monero, they're going to mine Dogecoin. The Qubic miners are always generating money. If they're not generating Qubic tokens through compute for AGI, they're generating coins from other blockchains and generating revenue. The compute they use to train their AI is not costing the network money. They generate revenue with the compute. The compute doesn't cost Qubic money. Like, it's like, how does the rest of the market not see this? If you've been tuning in this long, God bless you. You got to the juicy stuff. This is the difference. This is the difference between Qubic and all these other stupid LLM projects. Not only is their approach to AGI completely different with the trinary logic, the helix logic gate, the intelligence living in the RAM, not in some hard drive. It's a living intelligence. A self-evolving living intelligence evolved, or architecture to evolve like a human brain. It's not a probabilistic machine. Qubic is designed to evolve on its own like a human brain. That being said, man, and each miner willing to contribute reaps the benefits with the emission token and the idle mine token. You don't have to set up data centers and destroy the fucking planet, destroy power grids just to mine some stupid LLM bullshit. They're in too fucking deep, man. This is the difference between LLMs and Qubic, man. This is one of the main differences. This is the main thing I really wanted to get to. This might have been like, oh man. Let's continue.
Freemium models, other freemium models, because the freemium sort of business model has existed for a while in technology, usually only converts 1% to 5% of users into paying customers. Very small percentage. Once you start giving something away, people are not going to want to pay for it, basically because of the resentment. It comes down to this. You were giving us away for free, and now you want to charge us for the exact same thing we were getting for free. Sorry, no can do, right? It would be...
Check it out. And to my understanding, on this note, in order to use, assuming the Qubic AIGRID develops as planned, in order to have access to the AI, all you have to do is hold Qubic tokens or Qubic coins, whatever you want to call it. All you have to do is hold Qubic. You don't have to keep paying Qubic. Just hold it. And the more you hold, the more access you have to the AGI. That alone, dude, aside from the we've already talked about smart contract and buybacks and how that's going to hold up the supply. But once you add the AI utility on top of the supply crunch, there's not enough Qubic. People look at the supply and say, "Oh, reduce." Dude, no, there's not enough. Once people realize there's a real AI out there, a real decentralized AI, not controlled by anybody, that's self-evolving, and you have access to it just by holding this token. You don't have to pay every time. You just have to hold it. It's not a monthly subscription. Just hold the token. You probably might have to stake it or lock it or something. But all you got to do is hold it. And the more you hold, the more access you have. It's just, once that utility clicks, man, smart contracts and all were already bullish. Once the AI utility clicks for Qubic, this is going to get so crazy. 1 penny is way too feasible, especially after the next halving. Ooh, man, 2027 couldn't come sooner. 2026 is right here. And time's going to fly, dude. 2027 is going to come like just like that. And that's when, that's when things are going to pop off. It's supposed, hey.
The same if search engines started trying to charge a monthly subscription fee. People would, people are, because these things have some utility, but they're not a need.
He made a good point. Watch, check this out.
For the exact same thing we were getting to this. You were giving us away for free, and now you want to charge us for the exact same thing we were getting for free. Sorry, no can do, right? It would be the same if search engines started trying to charge a monthly subscription fee. People would, people are, because these things have some utility, but they're not a need. They don't cross that border, that threshold into being a need. Water is a need, air is a need, food is a need, clothing and shelter are needs. Having a source of income is a need. But artificial intelligence and other things in technology are useful. They have some utility, but they're not needs. This number, 3% of AI users are paying, sort of underlines that, okay? So what are the implications for all the huge money that's being spent on AI, the huge money invested in AI? So I say investment because it's going to be very difficult to get a good return. If only 3% of the user base is paying anything, getting a decent return is not going to be that easy, especially when the sums being spent are in the billions of dollars. And they're just talking tens of billions of dollars technology. So 3% of paying customers is bad for all the money that's been invested or to get a good return. So to get a good return when you've got such a small number of people being willing to pay, wow, you're going to have a hard time with that. Because if you think about it, a lot of stocks that are traded on the stock exchange are the stocks of very decent companies, good companies that have valuable products that they sell. And yet a lot of those stocks never really do anything spectacular. They sort of tread water for a while. They might blip up, then dip down a little bit, sort of around a trend. And that's not 3%. Those companies, a lot of tech companies have a lot of users that are paying for the technology, not with AI. People are not paying for AI. So this is a problem. So where is all this money coming from? Who is dumping all the money into artificial intelligence? You sort of have to think of AI as just some kind of trap. Why are all these big companies doing this? Because a lot of large enterprises, venture capitalists, debt funds, private equity are throwing.
That's such a good question. Simply why? Why? My son always asks that. He's 3 years old. Why? I love when I always knew that was gonna come ever since he was born. Like eventually he'd be like, why? I'm like, yes. This guy gives me. It's like making me fucking think, man. Why? Why would they do that? Why?
Money at artificial intelligence. Why? What do they think it's going to result in over the long term? Some sort of control over people? It can't just be a simple new toy or tool in technology. There's too much money There's too many big enterprises and VCs, et cetera, throwing money at this. So there's more, there's more to this than meets the eye. The debts that are being taken out may never be repaid. You've got 3% of the people who are users that are paying anything. Yep. Try repaying debts when you've got 97% who are freeloaders. They're freeloaders. I count myself in that group. I've never paid for AI. I would suspect the majority of people.
I was just talking about that about myself. Dude, you'll never catch me paying for Grok. You'll never catch me paying for Grok. I mean, low-key, I do have a blue check mark, but I'm not paying for Grok. For some Grok subscription. But, yeah.
Who use the internet on a daily basis know a lot of ways to get AI for free. Okay, it's not that unusual. So why is OpenAI still taking on large dilution? Okay, now what I mean by that is investment. Okay, when a company takes on new investment, that new investment dilutes the ownership stake of everyone who's an existing owner. So let's say that there are two founders of a company. Each of them owns 50%. So 50% plus 50% is 100% of the company. There's two founders. They take on investment from a venture capitalist. The VC firm wants a 20% ownership stake. Okay? So whereas before the two owners had 50% each, in order to give the venture capitalist 20%, guess what? Their 50% gets reduced to 40%, both of them. So 40% for one founder, 40% for another founder. The VC gets 20%. So the founders have been diluted. A lot of people say that's true. Their ownership percentage declines with. What if it doesn't increase in value? What if this does not go to the moon? You've got 3% of users who are paying right now. This is the world's most overfunded freemium model ever seen in technology. So why is OpenAI still taking on such large investment, large dilution?
All right, stay with me, guys. I hope you're still with me. We're talking about the difference between OpenAI and Qubic's revenue model. Qubic's making money, hand over fist, and they're gonna be making more money. The mining pays itself. Soon, and now there's outsourced computations. We're mining Monero for over 100K a week. Watch. Last week let me see. Quick mining revenue update. There was Qubic mining 191 here. Was this it? 213 billion cubic. Okay. $213 145K. So last week, this is just in a week. In 1 week, Qubic generated $145,000 at current prices. And look at the price right here. Up 20% on the week. Good golly, Miss fucking Molly, dude. Ooh, down on the month still. Damn. But look at dude, we're climbing up. We are uppity up. Ooh, Ooh. Is the word coming out? There's not enough Qubic? There's not enough Qubic. If you think there's enough Qubic after watching this whole live stream, I feel sorry for you, man. There's not enough Qubic. There's not enough. I'm not saying go buy some. I'm just saying there's not enough. For everybody. There's not enough. There's less Qubic available than there are Satoshis. If you don't know, there are 100 million Satoshis in one Bitcoin. There are 2.1 quadrillion Satoshis. In case you don't know, 1 quadrillion is 1,000 trillion. There are so many more Satoshis than there are Qubic. Qubic is indivisible. You can just have 1, 2, or 3 Qubic. There's no 2.3 Qubic or 2.666232237 Qubic. You can have 1 Qubic or 2 Qubic or 3 or 4 or 5. There are no decimals in Qubic. So yeah. So yeah, they bought back $145,000 worth of Qubic with Monero. Good golly, Miss Molly. And that's not even counted on their DeFi Llama revenue. I think once their Oracle machines are up, because look at this. This is not the correct revenue. This is not correct. If this was correct, they would be 7-day, 145. If this was correct, they would be number 54. Right? Because right under this, 164. And then you have right here, 145. This is just from mining. There you have it, guys. Qubic is making money and producing AGI. I can't wait. Right now, they're keeping a lot of the AI stuff close to the chest for the core developers. They're not letting a lot of stuff out because, I mean, why would they? That's $1 trillion shit, man. They're literally trying to develop AGI, the stuff Google's trying to do, stuff Sam Altman's trying to do, stuff Elon Musk is trying to do. People know AGI is possible. Now they're just trying to develop it. This is the way, man. This is the way. This is all I'm trying to say, man. There is a big bubble in OpenAI. Shall we continue with this video?
Why are all the
Qubic is here to eat up? There's gonna be a fat bubble burst. All I'm here to say is hold on tight, Qubicans. Just hold on to your coins. Qubic is here to eat their lunch. Let's go.
The owners of OpenAI so willing to take on so much money? Because they can't raise money any other way. They're not making any money. They're not making enough money to service their debts. New cash into the
sounds like a strategy.
Business deletes the existing owners. We covered that. If a company is doing well, keep this in mind. If a company was doing well, they would not want to dilute the ownership stake. If you had 10 people who had started a company and the company was doing well with customer billings, the company was on the upswing, there's 10 owners, 10% each, they would not want to be diluted. If the company's doing well, why would they need to take on money? They wouldn't. They would say, we don't need to take on money. We have plenty of revenue. We have plenty of cash flow. We have profits. We're not going to take on investment. We do not want to be diluted in our ownership stake. So the opposite is happening at OpenAI. They are just taking on tons of new investment. And so not only do the existing owners not mind being diluted, it must mean that they know that unless they accept this new investment from outside parties, they're going to get into trouble pretty quickly. And the management team of OpenAI not too long ago said that they were going to need a government bailout. So they must already know they're in hot water, that they're said that to trouble pretty quickly. And the management team of OpenAI not too long ago said that they were going to need a government bailout. So they must already know they're in hot water, that they're in trouble. They're in a little bit of trouble. So recent examples, okay, of companies throwing money into...
Does Qubic need a government bailout? No, they're making money hand over fist, buying back their token, and storing more for the CCF.
AI and the OpenAI, a couple of examples of companies who are throwing money into OpenAI and diluting the owners, the existing owners. Disney is putting in $1 billion. The sovereign wealth fund of Abu Dhabi is lining up a $100 billion investment into OpenAI. $100 billion. That's crazy dilution for the existing owners. If they were doing well, they would say, we do not want this additional investment. We're able to pay everything out of cash flow. Obviously, they can't. Obviously, they lack the cash flow to pay their bills. That's why they're taking on such huge investment. When you have 97% paying zero, it's no wonder. The fortune they're spending on the infrastructure, on hardware, on software development, they must have new money. And the only way they can get it is to give up ownership stakes in the company. Because if you have to think down the road, what if OpenAI ends up trading for a small fraction of what everyone hopes it will trade for, it will be worth? That happens not infrequently in technology companies, not just technology companies, but in technology, it's not unheard of for companies to go from a $2 billion valuation down to 50 million, 100 million. Yeah. So it does happen. Disney is putting in $1 billion. Abu Dhabi's putting in 100 million, so nice. 100 billion. I'm sorry. And that's so I couldn't fit everything on the board here. So it's possible that OpenAI has no path to revenue, to enough revenue, without such huge investments and dilution. So it's quite possible, as I said, that OpenAI is still willing to dilute the existing owners and take on new money, because that's the only source of money that they have is SAPs. I call them SAPs, S-A-P-S, SAPs. People who are overly enthusiastic about artificial intelligence, think it's going to do great things. Meanwhile, it's the world's worst freemium model. Most freemium models are not getting $100 billion from Abu Dhabi. The stakes are much smaller, safer. When the losses occur, it hurts less. This is going to hurt, okay? The people involved in this company, if this goes sour, and it seems like it must be, because Sam Altman said not too long ago that they were going to need a government bailout. This is going to hurt reputations. It's going to hurt people. They were going to need and it seems like it must be, because Sam Altman said not too long ago that they were going to need a government bailout. This is going to hurt reputations. It's going to hurt people. It's going to hurt the investors. Imagine Larry Ellison with Oracle having spent his lifetime building up that company to take on huge debt and then have that all wiped away. I don't get it.
That's so crazy.
So it's possible OpenAI has no path, no real path, legitimate path to enough revenue to pay down everything.
So you see, it's not just him. We preface this with, another video. It's not just him talking crazy talk. This is just a known thing. There's also Patrick Boyle has covered this. Many other people have covered this. I've looked into it myself. I just don't have the data lined up like that. I just want to present it to you guys. These guys set it up really nicely. But the data's there, man. OpenAI, it's a bubble. The LLM bubble is gonna pop soon, but don't panic. Don't worry. Qubican, don't panic. Hold steady. Or sell your shit, who cares? But if you have the eyes, Qubic is gonna be there to eat everyone's lunch. Oh, just don't panic. It's coming. Though AI is gonna look like retarded and maybe the news is gonna shit on AI. It's just gonna look ugly. But just wait. Mid next year, mark my words, man. Mid next year, Qubic is gonna just ruffle so many feathers. Ooh. Summer 2026. It's gonna ramp up, dude.
Artificial intelligence may be a dead end. CapEx, capital expenditure, if future profitability is unlikely. If these guys cannot figure out how to escape this freemium model problem, profits are going to be slim. The way to make this work would be to bolt on ads to artificial intelligence, to bolt on some sort of real-time bidding ad engine onto the responses generated by AI. They're going to have to do something like that if they don't start trending in that direction soon. Because how many Abu Dhabis are there? How many huge sovereign wealth funds are this stupid? I consider this a stupid amount of money to be. OpenAI is poorly.
How many sovereign wealth funds are this stupid? I love how frank he is with that statement. Oh man, that's so funny.
Soon, because how many Abu Dhabis are there? How many huge sovereign wealth funds are this stupid? I consider this a stupid amount of money to be. OpenAI is poorly managed. It's a poorly managed company. It's the world's worst freemium model. They're going to run out of suckers to keep giving them money. When that happens, watch out. So,
there you have it. What more? What fucking more can you say, man?
So here's a reasonable question. Will AI eventually be profitable? Perhaps only in niches. They say niches make riches. Things that AI is good at. Any sort of fixed body of knowledge, of human knowledge, like math and science, medical things that are fairly well defined. Things like art, though, is that going to be profitable? It's hard to know. But people in the sciences and in medicine, in healthcare, will pay for AI. So it's possible that AI will be profitable in niche situations, in small, narrowly defined situations, but not the, we've got over 60% of the US computer users have used AI. These people are not going to be profit centers for the big LLM companies.
Wow.
So arts, human affairs, philosophy.
I feel like that's such an obvious point. Man. I gotta start beating that drum too. That's such an obvious point. He says it so matter-of-factly. Man, that's so obvious. I never thought of it like that. Let's run that back. I never thought of it like that.
Situations, but not the, we've got over 60% of the US computer users have used. People are not going to be profit centers for the big LLM companies.
That's so.
So
yeah, you're not gonna profit off. They're not gonna profit off the free man.
Arts, human affairs, philosophy. There are a lot of subjects AI will never turn a profit in. So it may be powerful, it may be nice to use, but it's not a need. So I thought I would let everyone know that we've got the world's biggest freemium model being overinvested, hugely overinvested. 3% of users are paying, 97% are freeloaders. So if you're wondering what is the all the excitement about, it's most likely people don't want, fear of missing out, FOMO. FOMO. People are concerned that if they don't invest large, they'll miss a chance to own the future. The future for AI could be a lot more narrowly defined than people think. There will be some applications people will pay for, but most of it people are not going to want to pay for. So if they bolt on an ad engine to show ads with AI responses, that's one path to profitability. But they're going to alienate a lot of users because users are already tired of that from search engines. There's no question about it. So if you have any questions about this, I'd be happy to answer questions. I do like answering questions, so please post in the comments. This is sort of an unexpected seriously, when I started doing the research, I thought we're going to see fairly significant numbers of people who are paying for AI, and it turns out that was wrong by a long shot. Only a few people are paying. So please post questions in the comments or just post your comments. 3%. And I really want to thank everyone for watching. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for the data, good sir. Make sure you give Wolfgang Schachter a subscription. He has 1.62 subscribers. Ooh, I wonder if we can collab. Actually, yeah, I wonder. Yeah, so there's that. OpenAI, Grok, Claude. Let me not just pick on OpenAI. All them shits. Everyone's operating at a loss. Why? They're trying to get to AGI, but they're not gonna get it with LLMs. They're not gonna get it, but we're gonna get it. Qubic's gonna get it. Qubic's gonna get it. That's it. That's all I wanted to go through today. Anything else? Wait a second. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Let's go through X real quick. What the hell? Oh, hell no. Is that real? No. Or food. Food's being destroyed. No way. Oh, dude. How shall we end the stream? How shall we end the stream? Oh, we got a new comment at 7:05. SRX0039. ChatGPT is the worst model. I prefer to use Claude and Gemini. Word? I've never used Claude or Gemini. Damn, your profile picture's gonna give me nightmares, dude. What the f? That's like Shrek. It's like Carl Winslow Shrek. Shouts out to you, my guy. Oh, Bob Armstrong says Merry Christmas, ho ho ho. 2:43 a.m. Wait, what the hell? Where are you at? You in Germany or something? 2:43 a.m. Where are you, Bobby? Or are you using a VPN? Appreciate you guys watching. Let's end on a little funny note. Bow. In light of the last live streams I've been doing, I hope you guys tune into the live streams. Maybe I'll leave a link in the descriptions so you guys can tune in. It's a little off topic of Qubic, but it's so relevant to crypto. So let me end on this video. Boom boom. Share this tab. I hope you guys have been keeping up with the news.
Jesus!
The video is called "The Government Making Edits to the Island Boy Files."
Jesus!
Have a good night.
How much meat did this man suck? There's fornication on almost every page, right? There's literally no distinction between him and Tiana Trump. They could be the exact same person with all of the celebrities that they've swallowed. I wouldn't be surprised if they were. Every celebrity that you think would not be in these files, in here. Everyone. Celebrities, billionaires, politicians. These files make Diddy look like Miss Rachel. Speaking of Miss Rachel, how did they expect us to fabricate all this shit? Oh, okay. Here's what we do. We just edit it all out. We just take it all out. Just take it all out. But listen, if we take out the pedophilia, and boy is there pedophilia, extortion, fraud, super duper freak-offs, and secrets of the universe, there'll be no Epstein files to release. You're right. Without any government corruption, there are no Epstein files. Because if there wasn't any corruption, why is it taking so long for these files to be released? I got it. We'll send every news outlet whatever we want. Because we can. And no one will do anything. Because we're the U.S. government. Yeah. And nobody fucks with the U.S. government. Because everyone is pussy. Hoorah! You know what? Just to show everyone how much the U.S. government don't give a fuck, I'm sending out every news outlet black rectangles. That's genius. Ain't it? That's genius. Ain't it? Ain't genius. Yeah. Hey, I'm not in the government for no.
I'm sending every news outlet black rectangles.
Hey, we can just blame AI. Hey, blame AI. To cover our own, we can just blame AI. Yeah.
Speaking of which, I just saw this video on the way out, so maybe we should watch this. I haven't seen this yet. This is actually a channel I I subscribe to, but I haven't seen his videos for a minute. But he would have interesting videos about LLMs and AI updates and Claude and Gemini. So let's tune in. I haven't seen this one. When did a day ago? 17,000 views. Well, I'm gonna like it out of respect. Let's give it a view. This is a fresh watch. I was ready to tune out. Oh, his channel's going up. Very nice. Let's boogie. Let's check it out. What's the AI grid talking about?
So there is a pretty fierce debate going on right now about AGI, and we need to talk about it. So it actually all starts with this interview clip where Jan LeCun is essentially saying that general intelligence doesn't exist. I'm going to play the clip for you, and then we're going to get into some explanations of exactly what he's talking about.
There is no such thing as general intelligence. This concept makes absolutely no sense because it's really designed to designate human level intelligence. But human intelligence is super specialized. Okay? We can handle the real world really well, like navigate and blah, blah, blah. We can handle other humans really well because we evolved to do this. And chess, we suck. Okay? So, and there's a lot of tasks that we suck at that where a lot of other animals are much better than we are. Okay? So what that means is that we are specialized. We think of ourselves as being general, but it's...
I don't like what he's saying. I don't agree with what he's saying. Just off the rip. But let's continue.
Simply an illusion because all of the problems that we can apprehend are the ones that we can think of, right? And vice versa. And so we're general in all the problems that we can imagine, okay? But there's a lot of problems that we cannot imagine.
No.
And that's a mathematical argument.
But that's the thing. No, he's got it wrong, dude. Oh. This is how AI starts to hallucinate. He believes in how wrong he is. The thing about intelligence is you can adapt. You can figure shit out. That's the special thing about human intelligence. The ability to adapt. It's not like every human is horrible at chess. Some humans are really intelligent and they're really good at chess. His premise is really fucked up.
Arguments for this, which I made a think of, right? And vice versa. And so we're general in all the problems that we can imagine, okay? But there's a lot of problems that we cannot imagine. And there's some mathematical arguments for this, which I may not go into unless you ask me.
So Jan LeCun here is basically saying that what we call general intelligence is really just human level intelligence, and human level intelligence itself is not general. Instead, it's highly specialized for the kinds of environment and problems we've evolved to survive in, like navigating the physical world, reading social cues, and interacting with other humans.
Anything.
Now, I think what he's trying to say here is that, you know, we feel general because we are good at problems that we can actually imagine. Like if...
No, humans invent shit that's never been there. Oh, dude. All right. This is ticking me off.
The problems that make sense to us, it's usually because our brains are somewhat already evolved and adapted to handle all those kind of problems. But that doesn't mean that, you know, intelligence itself is universal. It just means that our brains are tuned to that specific subset of reality. There is a lot of things that we know we don't know. Now, in this interview as well, he points out that there are many tasks that humans are objectively bad at, things that, you know, other animals outperform us at easily. And I mean, if you've ever seen certain animals do certain tasks, I don't have a video clip of this right now because I do think it's copyright, but I want you guys to see this video clip where there's like an ape or a chimp, and it is able to react very quickly to numbers on a screen. And trust me, I've tried to do this myself before. Humans just wouldn't be able to compete at the ape with the way it's like clicking the numbers on a screen. I'm going to leave a link to the video because it's genuinely unbelievable. But the point, you know, that Jan LeCun is making here is that if intelligence were truly general, we wouldn't see such extreme trade-offs. And what we see everywhere in nature is specialization, and humans are no exception. We're just specialists who mistake that familiarity for universality. Now, of course, this matters for AGI because Jan LeCun is saying that there's no such thing as AGI, and he's not saying that AI can't get powerful. He's basically saying that, look, when you think about the intelligence of absolutely everything, one single system that can handle all the possible problems equally well, that doesn't even make sense mathematically, biology, or even practically. From his perspective, intelligence always comes from the blind spots. And honestly, I somewhat agree with this because an intelligent...
Oh no, I don't agree with this at all. I don't agree with this at all.
A system that could do everything just... you know, that would essentially be some kind of strange super intelligence. Now, this is where things get a little bit interesting because this is where we get into Demis's...
Hallelujah. Jan is just plain incorrect here. He's confusing general intelligence with the universal intelligence. Brains are the most exquisite and complex phenomena we know of in the universe so far, and they are, in fact, extremely general.
Sarbis, the essentially CEO of Google DeepMind, which is Google's AI division, and he says something super interesting. Essentially, he says here that Jan LeCun is incorrect. And so when Demis Sarbis says that Jan LeCun is just plain incorrect here, he's saying that he's confusing general intelligence with universal intelligence. So this is what we need to discuss because he's made a very long post that we're going to dive into here. And it's really interesting to see how the Twitter discourse is converging around this topic, because I think maybe towards 2027 or even maybe towards the end of next year, we could actually have some kind of proto AGI. So it's genuinely going to be super interesting to see. So he says that
Qubic.
brains are the most exquisite and complex phenomena we know of in the universe so far, and in fact, they're extremely general. So essentially what Demis Sarbis isn't saying here is that intelligence is unlimited or, you know, magically good or everything.
I mean,
he's basically saying that, you know, Jan LeCun is mixing up two different ideas, general intelligence versus universal intelligence. Now, universal intelligence would mean solving literally any possible problem optimally. And of course, we know that that doesn't exist and nobody seriously claims it does. But general intelligence is something else entirely. So Sarbis is, you know, arguing here is that, you know, the brain is basically general because humans, in fact, are basically general systems within, of course, their confined systems. So with enough time, memory, and data, the same underlying brain architecture can learn language, mathematics, physics, chess, music, engineering, social reasoning, things that evolution never explicitly designed us for. And that flexibility is what generality means. Now, of course, humans do have limits, you know, specialization, it doesn't cancel the generality. So we specialize when we are learning specific tasks, but that doesn't, you know, disprove the general intelligence. When we think about it, it just reflects the practical constraints like finite memory, time, and compute. Even a general system still has to focus its resources. Specialization is a consequence of learning efficiency, not evidence that the intelligence isn't general. So this is where Demis Sarbis is bringing up.
We can get kind of pretty deep on this. We can get kind of deep because there's also capacity. Some people don't have the brain capacity for a certain level of it. Not every human is created equal, despite what everyone believes. Not every brain is capable of Yeah, some brains can do more. It's like, think of it like a battery. Like some batteries are just, they're just gonna be able to do more, right? You can't compare like a AA battery to like a Tesla car battery, right? So yeah, there's that.
Do you know free lunch for him?
Like there's intelligence, and then there's your capacity to tap into intelligence. Because I feel like intelligence is it's like a living thing. I don't know how to explain it.
And this is important to understand because I didn't really know what this was before. And basically what he's saying here is that there is no single algorithm or learning algorithm that, you know, performs best on all possible problems. So if you optimize a system to be amazing on one type of task, you're necessarily making trade-offs that it may be worse at other types of tasks. It's not really a limitation of the current technology. It's essentially just mathematical law. So think about it like this. If you design a vehicle that's perfect for driving on roads, it's going to be terrible at flying. And if you optimize a vehicle for flying, it's going to be terrible at driving. You can't really have maximum efficiency in that same system. And I think if you've ever seen a car that can actually drive and, you know, drive on water, those two vehicles are clearly never the same. Now, if you think about what this actually means for intelligence, this is where it gets interesting, because Demis is actually, you know, acknowledging Lacan's point. He's saying, yes, you're right. In any practical finite system, there has to be some degree of specialization because you can't escape the no free lunch theorem. But, and this is his key counter, that doesn't mean the system isn't general. It just means that it's not universal. So a human brain is specialized around the types of problems that humans encounter: the physical world navigation, the social interaction, the pattern recognition. But within that specialization, it's incredibly general purpose. We can learn languages, mathematics, music, sports, programming, an enormous range of tasks. So yes, we're specialized, but we're specialized towards generality, if that kind of makes sense. So this is why the terminology matters so much. When we talk about building AGI, I think some people get confused, and there's a whole confusion about, you know, are we trying to build something that's optimal at every possible task in the universe? When we think about it, that's basically impossible.
That's interesting. I wonder how that will tie, how when AIGRID is tapped into with Oracle machines, and it'll have access to like stuff off chain, and it'll just decipher real-time information. That's gonna be crazy to think about. Like a self-evolving AI that's on the Qubic chain, once it has access to data off chain, reliable data off chain, and it's able to discern that data and extrapolate useful information to smart contracts. Man, that's gonna be so interesting. And is it gonna do it on its own? Let's talk about it. All right, let's continue the video.
According to the no free lunch theorem, what we're aiming at for, you know, AGI is a system that is, like humans, has broad learning capabilities within a practical architecture. So it's not going to be the best at any single task, but it should be able to learn and adapt across many domains. And that specialization is going to come from the architecture and training, what types of data it processes, how it represents information. But the generality comes in its ability to flexibly apply that architecture to diverse problems. Now, Demis Hassabis continues on talking about generality. And this is where he talks about, you know, the point about generality in this theory is that the Turing sense, the architecture of such a general system, is capable of learning anything computable given enough time and memory in the human brain. So this is where Demis Hassabis says, but the point about generality is that in theory, in the Turing machine sense, the architecture of such a general system is capable of learning anything computable given enough time and memory and data. And the human brain and AI foundation models are approximate Turing machines. So this is where Demis Hassabis is bringing out the heavy artillery, the Turing machine argument. And it's kind of crucial to, you know, why he thinks general intelligence.
But the point about generality is that in theory, In the Turing machine sense, the architecture of such a general system is capable of learning anything computable, given enough time and memory and data in the human brain.
Is real. Now, a Turing machine, for those of you guys who may or may not know, it's a theoretical model of computation from the 1930s. Now, what makes it special is that it's universal, meaning with enough time, memory, and the right program, it can compute anything that's computable. It's the foundation of all modern computing. So, you know, Demis's point here is that human brains are essentially approximate Turing machines. We can, in theory, learn and solve any problem that can be solved through computation, given enough time and information. Now, we're not perfectly efficient. We have limitations, but the underlying architecture is general purpose. And that's why he adds that, you know, foundation models like GPT, Claude, or Gemini are also approximate Turing machines. And this is massive. He's saying that, you know, these systems kind of have the same generality as human brains. Of course, they're not optimized for every task, but they have the architectural capability to learn an enormous range of tasks. And we've already seen this a little bit with the same base model that writes poetry, can code, analyze data, can play chess, can help with medical diagnoses. It's not really narrow AI anymore. That's like demonstrating general capabilities, even if it's not perfect at everything. So this is, you know, where Demis Hassab is just going in on the point that yes, there are practical constraints and specializations, but the fundamental architecture, the entire thing, is actually general. The fact that both human brains and modern AI systems approximate Turing machines means they possess genuine generality, the ability to learn and perform.
So this is where I feel like, okay, this is an interesting point. So this is where, this is exactly why CFB, or not just CFB, why Qubic needs more miners. You just need more compute. This is why we've been doing this. This is why the Monero mining started to attract more miners, make it more profitable. Which Qubic is the most profitable coin, CPU coin to mine right now. Acquiring more miners for free. The miners make money. Qubic is paying miners to mine intelligence. Get this through your skulls, everybody. The Qubic network pays, it's like Bitcoin, the Bitcoin network pays Bitcoin miners for literally wasting energy to mine some fucking stupid hash. The Qubic network pays miners to mine intelligence, and it uses less energy. What more do you need to hear?
Across the vast range of tasks. It's not really an illusion. It's not just like specialized modules pretending to be general. It's genuinely flexible, general purpose learning machine. The limitations that we see aren't architectural. They're just practical constraints like time, memory, and training data. And of course, as we change these systems, as we scale these systems up, we're probably going to see that generality express itself more and more. And that's what DeepMind are saying here.
With AI,
you can create any character you want in seconds.
This used to require huge Hollywood.
Then, of course, Demis Hassab basically says, with regards to Jan's comments about chess players, it's amazing that humans could have invented chess in the first place, let alone get, you know, someone as brilliant at it like Magnus. He may not be strictly optimal. After all, he has finite memory and limited time to make a decision, but it's incredible what we can do with our brains given they were evolved for hunter-gathering. So this is a really cool point, because he's basically saying that, look, humans are the ones that were evolved for, you know, hunter-gathering, those typical caveman activities. But when you look at,
the thing is, you have people at the top making statements that are off. Man, it pays to have a brain and to be able to use it. I don't know. I don't agree with a lot of these things that are being said. Man, that's interesting.
what has occurred here, we literally have brains that can play things like chess, even though we don't have, you know, decision trees in our head, you know, infinite memory, the ability to run simulations of every single game. It's really, really incredible, because Jan is saying that humans are terrible at chess compared to computers, and he's using that as evidence to say that we're specialized, not general. But Demis is saying, wait a minute, think about it. On the other side, we invented chess from scratch. We, you know, invented this complex strategic game with no evolutionary pressure to do so. And yet we created it and we're kind of good at it. Well, you know, not me, but some people are good at it to the point where they're basically superhuman. So they're arguing that generality, it really...
Touche, bitch.
Does exist in humans, because we can adapt to a broad range of tasks. And of course, we're not saying that Magnus is, you know, the specialized chess machine, but although he might be, but we're saying that, you know, the fact that a human brain, which is designed for a completely different purpose, can reach that level of chess mastery is pretty incredible. It's like taking a bicycle and somehow getting it to fly. It's not going to be as optimal as an airplane, but the fact that you can actually make it fly shows extraordinary adaptability. We took brains optimized for recognizing predators and finding food and repurposed them to calculate chess positions 15 moves deep. That's pretty much the definition of general purpose intelligence. Now, of course, Elon Musk comes in and says, yes, Demis Hassabis is right. I think this one, you have to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt, because if you haven't been aware with the past of Elon Musk and, you know, Jan LeCun, they've been arguing back and forth about who's an AI researcher, who does real research. It's been pretty entertaining to see. And then, of course, a few hours after this post, Jan LeCun actually did responded. And he said, you know, he wrote a long post, and he said, this is where he says, I think the disagreement is largely one of vocabulary. I object to the use of general to designate human level, because humans are extremely specialized. You may disagree that the human mind is specialized, but it really is. It's not just a question of theoretical power, but it's also a question of practical efficiency.
Is a clown, dude.
So
I don't agree with
what
him
Jan LeCun is saying here is that this is...
I don't agree with Jan. Dude, Jan is a... What's up with him? You about to piss me off, Jan.
Is mostly just arguing about words. When he's saying that humans aren't general, he's basically saying that we are extremely limited compared to what's theoretically possible. Yes, a human brain could technically compute anything given enough time and pens and...
Oops, what the hell did I do? My bad.
Paper, but that doesn't make us general. In his words, it makes us incredibly specialized at a tiny slice of possible problems. So he actually, you know, in this entire thing, it gets a bit longer, but I'm just going to simplify what he's saying here. So he uses this neural network analogy, and he says, think of it like this. Technically, a simple 2-layer neural network can learn any pattern, but in practice, it would need a ridiculous number of neurons to do anything useful. That's why we use deep learning with many layers instead. And humans are the same. Technically, we could solve lots of problems, but we're wildly inefficient at most of them. And so he uses this vision example. So he says, here's a concrete example. Your optic nerve has about 1 million nerve fibers. Each one is either firing or not. So it's basically 1 million on and off switches. Now, how many possible ways could your brain process that visual information? The math is insane. There are 2 to the power of 2 to the power of a million possible ways to process vision. And that's a number that's so large, it's basically incomprehensible. Roughly 10 with 300 trillion zeros after it. So your entire brain, all 100 billion neurons and 100 trillion connections, can only represent about 2 to the power of 3, I think it's trillion, or a lot more than that. The number is very large, different patterns. And it sounds so huge, but compared to the total possibilities, it's like a single grain of sand on the size of the observable universe. We can only process an infinite small amount of possible visual patterns. And Einstein said the most incomprehensible thing about the world is that the world is comprehensible. So what Jan is essentially saying here is that it's actually miraculous that humans can understand anything about the universe, because out of all the infinite ways reality could be organized, most of which would look like complete random noise to us, we happen to evolve brains that can comprehend a tiny sliver of it. So everything we can't understand, we just, you know, think about everything that humans cannot understand. What do we call it? We just call it entropy or randomness, and then we ignore it. And most of the universe is incomprehensible to us because our brains are specialized, but of course we don't see it because it's our brains. So Jan essentially saying here that humans, yes, they're technically Turing machines in theory, But in practice, we're just specialized for an incredibly narrow range of problems that we don't realize because we can't even perceive those problems that we're bad at. And calling that general intelligence is misleading. So when you think about...
Dude, Jan is a fucking kook. Jan is a kook. What the hell is going on with Mr. Jan?
The argument between these two, it's super interesting. We got Demis saying that, you know...
It's not interesting. Jan is dumb. Jan LeCun is... No. He's wrong. Outright, he's just wrong.
We're general within practical real-world constraints. And then Jan is basically saying those constraints are so limiting, calling it general is wrong. So it's basically arguing whether a Swiss Army knife is a general purpose tool. And Demis is saying, yes, it is, because it does many things. And Jan saying is, no, it isn't, because compared to all possible tools in the entire universe, it can't really do much. Let me know where you guys stand on this, because I think this is super interesting.
No, I don't... Hey, you know, let me take that back. I don't want to disrespect Jan LeCun. All right, everybody. That was fun. We're almost on the way out, but then I saw that video on my YouTube feed, and I wanted to go through with it. Make sure you give this fella a follow. He has really cool insights and videos on AI in general. The AI Grid on YouTube. Oopsie, what was that? What just happened? Okay. Alright, everybody. We're about to tune out to some music. You guys have a good evening. And let's go.